Let's talk about some of the questions that I'm going to be interested in understanding about my client. And the reason that I want to share this with you is because it'll help you, whether you want to be a professional hypnotist or whether you just want to learn how we think about approaching hypnosis as professional hypnotists. So one of the first things that I'm going to ask you, if you were to come to me and say that you wanted hypnosis, is I would ask you why hypnosis, what brings you in to work with me, what brings you here, give me a thumbnail sketch of the problem. All right, and clients often will report all sorts of things, and if that's the case, I will say if I could snap my fingers and one of those things could magically be gone, which one would have the biggest positive impact on your life? All right, so right there, we need to know what it is that we're focusing on, and we need to focus on something, okay? We can't just work on a whole bunch of things at one time. We're going to narrow something down and we're going to focus on it. Another question that I'm going to ask you is why now? Why now? And why now is useful because it is going to point to motivation. So why now is often something along the lines of, oh, I want to lose weight because my son is getting married in the spring. Or I want to get rid of my fear of driving because it's isolating me at home. Or I have to stop drinking, or something bad's gonna happen if I don't. And there's a motivation there that we really want to understand. Now, another question is going to be, what have you tried in the past? With weight loss and other things, folks have usually tried quite a bit to solve their problem. And I would call this, they're using their conscious mind, right? They searched Google, they asked friends, they read a book, and sometimes they've even done alternative styles of healing. So it's good to understand from our clients what they think worked in the past, leading to what I think is the most important question. The most important thing I think to understand at this point about hypnosis. So at the very root, how I'm going to help people, and one of the things that I want to understand is the following. Is there something in your life that you think you should be able to do? But for some reason, when it comes right down to it, you just don't feel like it, you don't remember, you avoid it, you forget. It just doesn't get done. And it really shouldn't. And you're pretty good at a lot of things in your life, maybe everything, but this one thing, it's really interesting. There's something deeper going on, is what I would say. And so we're going to be looking at all of the things that there's something deeper going on. And so it's really important to get to some details. For example, if my client says that they're overeating or they're eating emotionally, I might say, can you tell me when is the last time this happened? And they might say, yesterday or this morning. And I'm going to say, okay. I probably will ask them to slow down. And if they were open to imagining going back to that moment right now. And I'd say, are you open to closing your eyes and just having an experience with me right here, right now? And I'd say, all right. And if you're there at home, you can follow along too. So there you are. All right, so your eyes are closed. There you are. You're imagining a time, a moment, very recently when you ate for emotional reasons, or perhaps you ate too much. Now, what I'd like you to do is imagine in your mind that you're backing up this moment, this sequence, all the way to before you started eating this food this time, before you put that food in your mouth in this situation. And I want you to imagine that we're going to freeze it right there. And what I want you to do is I want you to notice, how does she feel in that moment right there? How does he feel in that moment right there? I want you to understand that is where we're going to understand where the problem is. Because there's something about before you decided to eat the food, right when you decided to eat too much. Something about it seemed like a good idea. And we're going to understand what that is using hypnosis. And so it's a very powerful question, and it's a very powerful technique that would be called a date, time, age regression. And if you'd like, go ahead and open your eyes. What I'd like you to do, if you were doing that technique, just notice what came up for you. We're not solving for the good times usually in my office. So like when everything's going great, you get great sleep, you hit all the green lights, the project is a win, the sale goes through, the team wins. It's an easy day to eat healthy, easy day to not drink, easy day to not smoke. We're always planning for the hard times. We're always planning for when we wake up late, we stub our toes, spill the coffee, phone is dead, car won't start, that type of thing. So we're always planning for when things don't go well. And so a date, time, age regression is a very powerful technique where we can have you revivify an experience in your life and slow it down to understand when this synesthesia happened. When did you flip from having an okay time, having a good time, to something else, okay? And we're going to take a deeper look at that and see if we can resolve it there. All right. Now, a couple other things that I would be asking is, how do you know what results look like? It's so critical. For some people and for some situations, all we need to know is what results look like. Some folks, you point them in the direction of results and they'll just go and grab it, right? And I bet that's true for all of us in certain circumstances, okay? Now, how do we know we're getting better is very important, because a lot of the issues that we're struggling with, the mind tends to, and we've been trained often, to only accept perfection, which means anything short of perfect was a loss, rather than we should, and what I know and what serves the nervous system, so serves us continually growing forward with a growth mindset, is that you're always going to be loving and gracious with the self. It really is illogical to belittle the self. It's illogical to shame the self. There's no purpose in it. It only just holds us back and holds parts of us back that feel bad or buy into that. So the best way for us to proceed is to continue to surrender to deeper and deeper love within the self. Every moment we can be challenged to love ourselves more deeply. And I think that is true because I know it's true for me, because there's all sorts of things that my mind can find that are less than perfect, and I'm wanting and trying to love myself as much as possible. And I think it rubs off. Feels like it does. Feels like it becomes a part of who I am. So the more I find ways to love myself, the more gracious I am, the more gratitude I have in my life. And gratitude is the guiding principle of my life. It's the guiding principle of sacred. We're always going to, if you think about how powerful gratitude is, some people, love feels like too big, too much, but we can always find something to be grateful for. And the moment that we shift into gratitude, now the mind is open. We are not in a fearful state anymore if we were before that, or an angry or protective state. Now we are open, and in that open state we were once again connected to divinity and connected to all things. So gratitude, I think, is the key. It is the key every time, every single time. Be grateful for everything. Everything, all the time. Whatever is showing up for you, be grateful. And life continues to just flow in abundance all around you. Now, When that isn't happening, I'm going to be asking you, how should it happen? How do you want it to happen? And then we're going to find the ways and the things that are blocking that from happening, using age regression, using other elements of slowing things down, moving you into an alpha brainwave state, slowing down. And alpha is dreamy and fuzzy, it's flowy. And then beyond alpha, we would take you into theta. Is beyond words. You go into a theta every night when you fall asleep. So you can think of theta as when you're falling asleep and you're moving into that, you're in the hypnagogic state. As you're in the hypnagogic state, which is that transition period between falling asleep and asleep, you're going to start losing your words. Does that happen? You're like, oh, I can't quite understand you, or I can't find the right words. I must be getting tired. Okay. This could mean you're moving into a predominantly theta brainwave state. You're getting tired, and your brain is going to go into theta and then into a deeper and slower brainwave state, predominantly called delta. And that's deeper, deep sleep and REM sleeping. We are going to do that every night as we sleep, and then it's going to also happen as we awake in the morning. It's called a hypnopompic state as we wake up. A couple interesting things about the hypnopompic state. Is very similar to the hypnagogic. This is when you are sleeping until when you awake. Both of these states have similar brain states of mind, so they're both alpha, theta, and there are times when you're gonna have a dream that escapes you, right? You remember your dream, and you might be sitting there, you might be feeling kind of floaty, like you're asleep, awake. That would be one of those two states, hypnagogic, hypnopompic. And then your dream dissipates and you wake up. Why does that happen? Because you're waking up and you're moving from the theta alpha into more of a beta brainwave, which is faster. If you want to remember that dream the next night before you go to sleep, the next morning before you wake up, just prime yourself that you're going to remember that dream. Write it down, because as you fall asleep, you'll go right back into that alpha and theta brainwave state again, and that information will be right there, very likely, and you can go right back into that dream. Okay, so when we understand these things about the mind and can start playing with them, okay, it's not 100%. You really do have to play with these things. Be curious about your mind. If you can default into gratitude and curiosity, this has been a random discussion on some of the important things. I shouldn't say random. It's random because I did not plan on recording a video tonight. Okay, it's Friday night. It's important information that I wanted to summarize, because I really want people to understand the things that are important that we think about as professional hypnotists, and to help you lead a more happy life, a more free life, right? So I hope this was helpful, and over the course of the next period of time, I'm going to be sharing a lot more information about hypnosis. Please subscribe to this channel, ask me your questions about hypnosis, and leave me your comments below about hypnosis, about the brain, and what you would like to learn about hypnosis. I'm Erica Flint. Thank you for being here. I am the author of a number of books, a couple of them, Can You Be a Hypnotist? That's at canyoubeahypnotist.com, and Reprogram Your Weight always shows up a little funny here on the green screen, but that's my first book based on clients who are losing weight with hypnosis. You can find out more information on that at reprogramyourweight.com. And if you'd like to be a professional hypnotist, check us out at cascadehypnosistraining.com. Bye for now.